Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Let's go down. Yeah, that's it.
Wait, what happened to the shimmy you were just doing with that? Because that was really good.
Welcome to the Blacklist AfterBuzz After Show. That is the, is it Alison Krauss or is that?
This is Alison Krauss.
Okay.
From the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack.
Right.
Which is a better version than the Kenyon family.
The Kenyon family. They're two separate versions.
They're two.
We're playing this in honor of the Kenyon family, the super creepy cult that we just watched on the Blacklist.
Although still much better than the following cult.
Well, I want to get to that in a second.
Doesn't take much.
Well, I know. I want to get to that in 1 second. But thank you for joining us on the Blacklist AfterBuzz After Show. I'm Joe Braswell. I'm not joined by Joe Sanfilippo.
He's drunk.
Who is out on assignment.
Drunk.
A.K.A. I don't know, drunk?
I don't know.
What it is.
That's our code.
But I am joined by the lovely Nando Velasquez, who has shaved his beard.
Yes, I have, everybody.
There you are.
I said I was going to last week, and
God.
I committed. Thank God.
No, I'm just kidding. I shaved mine too.
Yeah.
I shaved
Julia
mine
still
too.
has not shaved hers.
Oh, I mean, I haven't shaved mine.
Yeah, sure.
Next on the list, haircut. I'm just saying.
Yeah, next week, haircut.
All right.
Haircut. I'm calling it.
All right. And I'm also joined by the lovely Julia Cearley.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
You don't need a haircut, Julia.
Well, maybe I need to get my roots done, but we'll talk about that later.
And Joe's not here, but we do have the lovely Alexis in the booth. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for that.
Sorry.
Thanks so much. You're
good. No,
a
it's good to
scholar
have-
and a saint.
I know. It's good to have you.
Awesome.
You know. So here we are. The Blacklist, Kenyon family number 71.
Yeah,
Is that what
number
they are?
71 on the
That's
Blacklist.
it.
All right. So we want to jump right into this. And there's some very serious following comparisons that I want to talk about because the following Blacklist went head to head. Not head to head. They were close. Did they go head to head last year?
I believe so,
Last
because
season?
all the shows that we did on AfterBuzz last year aired on
Monday, right?
Mondays or
Monday
Sunday
nights, yeah.
nights. So
It
I'm
was
pretty
kinda
sure they
crazy.
were head to
This
head.
felt like
Yeah.
direct shots fired at the following.
This is how you do a cult.
Done,
In a lot
do
of
it the
ways.
right way.
Yeah.
And I feel like they did a lot better job.
Yeah.
We'll
Sorry,
get to that in a
following.
second.
Well,
But
the best thing they did is they made it one episode about a cult.
Yes, not
stretched
3
out into-
seasons?
not stretched out into a whole season.
we'll get to that. But I did love this episode, by the way, and I totally expected to not like it. I saw the preview, I was like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. And then I actually really loved it. But we'll talk about that. But before we do, Nando has something to tell us about another show that I'm very excited about.
Yes,
you
another
got?
show. Yeah, well, let me ask you guys this.
Uh-oh.
What if your son was murdered, your daughter arrested, your child framed? Where does the truth lie? One crime will affect so many lives in the television event of the year. And what we're talking about is ABC's groundbreaking new TV series, American Crime, which is premiering on Thursday, March 5th at 9 Central, and it's going to be on ABC. And after you've watched the premiere, be sure to join film critic and radio personality Elvis Mitchell, really good guy, host of the American Crime Podcast, as he takes an in-depth look at the ABC show. Each week, that podcast is going to feature a candid conversation with show creator and executive producer John Ridley, the Oscar-winning screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave, along with show talent discussing the latest episodes, character storylines, and other timely topics. Go to podcast1.com/American Crime to subscribe now. And while you're on podcast1.com, don't forget to check our other AfterBuzz TV shows too. And I'm sure we're doing an AfterBuzz TV show for American Crime.
We are.
Oh,
Yes, as well.
Why wouldn't we? I'm
wouldn't
super excited about American Crime. I love.
looks really good.
I love John Ridley. I love him as a writer. I'm glad he won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. He's a fantastic writer and hopefully a great showrunner. This show looks amazing. I love Elvis Mitchell. He's one of my idols. So I would love to hear that. I can't wait to hear that podcast and watch the show. I know what I'm more excited about, the podcast or the show, but I'm excited about both. So thank you, Nando. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right,
done.
so first impressions. Like, I mentioned the following. I mentioned like I liked the episode. I kind of gave you mine, but what did you think of this episode, Jules?
Well, as we've seen, I've been a little out on the Blacklist lately after last week.
So too. Good.
This guy. Anyways, I, like you, was kind of dreading this episode after I feel like I've been burned a bit by the following, and I just really didn't have it in me to go all culty once again.
Right.
But I stand corrected because this episode was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was the perfect combination of like a good old fashioned disturbing standalone Blacklister like we saw a lot in season 1.
Sure.
But then we also get Red and his merry band of colorful criminals, which I have missed so much. We had Ruth, we had Jellybean. I love these guys, and I never love Red more than when he's with these guys.
Yes.
And then it tied in really well with dropping little hints here and there about the overarching story. So I kind of found it to be something of a perfect episode. I was totally into it.
I loved it too. Nando?
Yeah, I agree. And for those of you who don't know, when we mentioned the following, we used to do the following AfterBuzz show the past 2 seasons, but we're not, I believe, doing the following this season, partly because we are so sensitive to cults after last season. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to see another cult show. But this Backwaters cult, again, I think you said pretty much everything I was going to say. It was done really well. Very creepy in the sense with the head of the cult, the Mr. What was his first name? Justin Kenyon. Justin Kenyon marrying that little girl in the very opening moments and his big speech, stuff like that. But we got to see a lot of comedy. One of my favorite side characters that luckily is not gone, Jellybean from the DMV. Hilarious when we first saw him. Really, really awesome. I love the fact that we're moving we're getting more questions answered. We're learning about the safe. That was something that was kind of thrown aside after Fitch died.
Yeah.
And we're finally seeing that now. So it moves along forwardly. I mean, it was one of the better episodes of the season. I thought it was fantastic. And this is the time of year we kind of get these filler episodes or these episodes that are kind of like, the throwaways. And this was pretty much a standalone throwaway. They did give us some nuggets of serialization, like when they brought back, like you said, they brought back the safe and mentioned some other things. But like you said, man, the highlight of this episode for me was Jellybean. Jellybean and Red, like that's a show. That's a movie. It's like a midnight spin-off. It's like Midnight Run. Yeah,
like those guys like riffing back and forth.
All right, first '80s movie reference in a while.
Is Midnight Run '80s?
I think Midnight Run was like '80. No, it was early '80s.
'89,
maybe
early '80s,
maybe '88.
You're crazy. I'm going to say 88 because I'm sure I'm right about it, but you can look it up. But yeah, it's very Midnight Run about it, Midnight Run-ish. And I don't know, man. I really love that guy. And then we get to see Ruth. Have we seen Ruth before? We've never seen Ruth, right?
I don't believe we've seen Ruth.
Yeah, Ruth was dope. So,
She's amazing.
Mr. Kaplan, Ruth, that's like, I love it.
I've missed these people in my life, in my Blacklist life. They're my favorite.
But Red's pure exasperation with Jellybean, and Jellybean like going toe-to-toe with Red and really effing with Red.
And loving every second of it.
Loving it was just really great stuff. So that was fun. Anyway, am I right, Nando?
I'm pulling it up as we speak. Wait, Midnight Run, 1988.
Oh,
bingo!
Oh, on the nose.
Wow.
What do I know about movies?
It helps if you were 21 when it came out.
Thank you. You're funny. But yeah, so it was a great episode. So I do want to talk about this opening scene, which was, I was kind of like buckling up for like, okay, here we go, the cult thing, and but it was shot. It was really, really creepy, and it was kind of, stuff was happening. By the time we got to, the reveal of the young bride, which was really just the whole thing. This was just creepy.
Well, that whole speech before the young bride was creepy. It was like, really? And then all of a sudden, there's the kicker:
plying with wine and then lying with your father, the eldest to the youngest.
Wine.
What?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. But then just that last shot before the opening credits with the sickle in the door, and the rattling sickle in the door,
and the hand coming out.
I'm like, this is kind of chill. This is kind of chilling. So I think that was extremely well done. Jumping into that kind of set the tone for the type of episode we were going to see. And frankly, I was really genuinely kind of creeped out by this cult, and I do want to reference, we, like Miranda mentioned, we did the following for a long time, and, and following has ups and downs. But this really felt like them sort of saying, like, hey guys, because there's a lot of references to following, like she said, all the people in the church were stabbed. as opposed to shot, which is definitely a following move.
And you brought it up. The mother of the kid that they saved in
Weston.
that one event was Dawn Weston.
Yes.
Don Weston, and one of the stars.
I told you Weston was a follower.
Yeah,
I said it.
Finally, you're right about Weston being a follower.
Yes.
One of the main characters of the following is Weston.
Yeah.
So there's. I'd like to look this up, internet folks. I think there's something going on here. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, but yeah, really well done. So we find out, we meet Justin Kenyon, and we see his whole deal. The church, the flock. Something happens to the flock. We know that they're mostly murdered. We find out later that they are sort of are murdered and stabbed, and the children taken away, along with Justin Kenyon himself. Red does this great job, which I think was a really cool thing of to explain to Lizzie who this guy is and why it's a big deal. And they do that thing that they do at the beginning of all Blacklist episodes, where they give you that like cool 95-second exposition thing, like, to explain everything. The Kenyon family, well, they're untouchable. They're a family who's been blah, 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 blah.
Which, as one of the hosts of the after show, always freaks me out. It's like, do I need to write everything down? What am I going to miss?
Like,
I'm learning over time. Like, do your thing.
They're just going to tell us all in like 90 seconds, and then
you'll give me what I really need.
It's like a page and a half of dialogue, and they give you everything you need to know. So they did that.
I always freak out.
Yeah, the Acres of Fang and the ATF, and no one can get to them, and blah, 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 blah. But what the cool thing we did find out is that because he's got this land that is untouchable by the government and everything else, a lot of the underworld, Reds, ilk and worse, store a lot of their contraband there. So that and missiles and everything from drugs.
It's a storage facility for the criminal
which kind of brings this group of Blacklisters kind of like the ones from the beginning of the season when we were doing like the Monarch Bank and we were doing all this stuff, these were companies and these were like the middlemen for a lot of the underworld. This
is hard to the Monarch Bank because Justin Kenyon himself wasn't like the super criminal blacklister, although he's a bad guy by a lot. But it was really what his facility housed and who he housed for is really the main thing. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. I love these these glimpses into this underworld or this other society or this other whether it's a I don't know, what do you call it, the black market economy or this other economy that all these trading in weapons and stuff that we don't know about that's completely off the grid, whether it's the Monarch Bank or they store their weapons here, that Red it's a complete dive into Red's world, and I love seeing that. And we knew that Red is not and Lizzie knew that Red was only bringing this to their attention because Red has something there, or presume that Red has something stored there too. We figure
it's always some ulterior motive that Red has.
And Lizzie did too, but we'll get to that scene later. So go ahead.
I just always find it sometimes a little bit, maybe I'm missing a step here, but a little coincidental though, that he brings the FBI's attention to this cult and to the Kenyon family just as this crazy ish is going down at the same time. Right. And the two aren't really connected, but it makes for a good story for us.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's a good point because, but I thought that it was like I
don't believe Red and the FBI had anything to do with the mass murder. Like those were two separate events that just happened to coincide at the same time. That I might be wrong. I know you'll all tell me if I am.
Right.
But I don't know. This is just something that I see a little pattern of every once in a while.
It's like, I'm going to let you know about this thing. Who knows? Maybe something bad will happen on the next act, next commercial break, and something does. But but that's a good point. I never wonder about that. So what you're saying is he brought it to the attention of the FBI. The FBI says we don't care about it, and then the thing happened, and then the trucks went rolling, the bomb exploded. And they're like, oh my God, Russ, Red was right. Let's go raid it. And what they found was, oh my God, this is a mess in here. Yeah, that is weird. All right.
Just saying.
Again, disbelief. Suspension of belief or suspension of disbelief.
The story was great. I still love this episode.
Okay,
I'm just bringing up this idea that I've been toying and tinkering with.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. I think that it was really cool, though, to see. I did like the political aspect of it. I did like some of the political stuff of like, we can't touch this. We don't want another Waco. If we go in, we'll look like bad guys. We can't. And then having, Lizzie have to sort of say to Red, sorry, and Red get mad. Like, I don't want to, all of this political red tape. I'm trying to save lives here. People will die, and people died.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And then we find out, of course, with a little hint as to Cooper Now, do we know what Cooper has?
I don't believe so,
They
no.
still haven't talked about it. Just the fact that obviously whatever it is, it's terminal. And this trial that they're talking about is his best chance at getting past it. At healing himself.
Do we? I mean,
this clinical trial.
Do you think we'll know what it had? Do you think it's important for the story for us to know what he has, or is it important enough to say that I've got something bad?
Dangled it in front of us a little bit throughout the season.
The trial.
So, yeah, something will happen.
Well,
and now we have the new attorney general in on it as well. And I mean, they didn't have to do all that.
Well, I always seem to believe that the longer you kind of keep something a secret, kind of like the whole Red and Lizzie relationship, the longer that you say, I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say what it is. It's like, ooh, it's going to be really big once they give the reveal. And he's going to say, oh, it's cancer. You know? and not to make light of it, but it's just like you kind of like the way they're just not talking about it. It makes, and the fact that, he's got to take this trial. It's got to be something bigger than that, I would think.
But I think it's one of these things where it feels safe enough to just say, I've got something bad and there's a clinical trial that could help me. That seems safe enough to be able to just propel the story and without having to name a disease. In Empire, one of my other favorite shows, the main character has ALS, and that's a big storyline. It's hard to find, I guess it's hard, dramatically to find a disease that allows your character to still be fully functioning, but also dying. Like, what is that? It's interesting.
Well, what's interesting
and also give you an opportunity to bring him back, because obviously it's a TV show. You want to make him live. So I don't know.
Well, here's the other interesting thing about not saying what the disease is. I mean, when you think about like that, Empire is a good example. Another example is Homeland. When Carrie, who has bipolar, she has other medical issues.
It's not terminal though.
It's not terminal, but we know what the illness is. We know what she's going through, and it affects her character. Yeah. And I mean that's also what makes Claire Danes just phenomenal doing that role, is that she can play the nuances of having these these features, for lack of of just trying to put it in a nice way, for her character to play with.
Sure.
As an actor. And with Cooper, we don't even know what it is. He could just say, he could do anything, and we're like, okay, it must have something to do. He could be a bad actor, and we could say, well, it must have something to do with his illness.
Yeah. It's
his affliction.
It's his affliction.
It's his affliction.
Yes.
It's an interesting choice, and I kind of like it. So
Plus, it gives him a moment to be super actor that he really is.
Yeah, give him
and that
something to
we've
do other than
been
shout into
missing out
phones.
on for the last season and a half.
Yeah, I mean, season and a half of like, I want answers.
Give me some Harry Lennox.
Yeah, exactly. So
the
good.
way I want him.
Good. So that they're hearing our cries and giving him something to do, and we're seeing more with the wife, who we still think isn't going to make it, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not about my prediction on that one. She seemed pretty solid.
Yeah.
There. She seemed like she wouldn't go anywhere.
She's not going anywhere.
I don't know. I just felt
was
like
against that one.
All right, we'll see. So I liked all that stuff. So then we have this weird other, like, also equally creepy thing of these vans rolling out, and that scene where it's like, oh, it's a van. What is it? And the guy's like, oh, don't worry, it's only. Well, now we know it's only a kid. Like, oh, it's only a kid. Kaboom. Yeah. So, which was, that's again, it's another cool device. Like, what was in there? Who was that? And then to find out later that was a kid is actually more effective than revealing a kid, seeing a kid get exploded, which we didn't have to do. It's a cool way of them to not show a kid dying, and then to have it happen, and then us know after the fact, like, oh, dude, that was a kid back there.
But, here's a really weird thing. So there's a van pulled over on the side of the road was it in the middle of the night? I can't remember. No, it was in the daytime, right? And, or whatever time it was. And the state trooper comes over, guns pretty much drawn, and there's a kid in the driver's seat on the freeway, and he's like, oh, it's perfectly normal. It's a kid in a driver's seat. So is that...
Not to mention a big windowless van. Let's not put away our guns just yet, guys. Just let's be a little bit more thorough.
That's true.
Oh, it's a kid driving a van in the middle of Alabama.
Hey,
That's
little
perfectly
buddy.
normal.
Hey.
Kids drive in Alabama all the time, apparently.
Well,
I
think it was rural Virginia, but it's fine. But either way,
no, it was Alabama. Was it Alabama on the police?
Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson's.
Yeah,
Smoky Mountains. It's a Smokey Robinson Mountains.
And the Supremes were with them.
Yes. No, but I agree.
Hey, little buddy.
I do agree. That was kind of a little bit of a state trooper WTF, if you will, not an FBI WTF on that one.
Yeah, state trooper.
But the point was they had guns drawn, and then it was like, okay, we can put the guns away. We don't have to, But it was
still a stolen car.
Anyway,
Just saying.
Regardless,
Okay. I'm done.
I thought it was
Just saying.
awesome and it was good. So there it was. That was a cool thing. And then so when the second time around, we find the second van and Samir goes up to him and is like, uh-oh, and then sees the kid and walks up to him. I gotta tell you, man, I don't know what it is about Samir and me. Samar, thank you. I don't know what's about Samar and me and thinking she's gonna die, but like, I just was like, oh, this is it. Like every episode, I'm like, this is where she goes.
She asks for it a lot.
I don't know, but maybe it's because what happened to our girl, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
What's her name?
Agent Malik.
Yeah, because Agent Malik and Mira Malik. I don't know.
But Malik was never really in danger. I felt like she was never really that much in danger, like Samar is. Samar seems to be really
exactly,
which makes her
feel like she was just written off the show. Whereas I feel like Samar is on the show, but I'm not so sure. Is she on? Is she gonna die?
You know what was missing from that episode? A cutaway to Aram.
Around like, are you okay?
Oh my God!
Samar, no!
Samar, no! Don't go to the van.
Cut away from me.
Yeah.
Somebody stop her! Somebody stop her!
No,
because that's really what they're doing the whole Samar thing for, is to try and develop this whole connection with Amar. And
I feel like Amar because in the episode, in the Super Bowl episode, I thought for sure like she's gonna. That's it. She's not gonna make it, and then she made it. I'm like, okay. Episode 2, oh, she's not gonna make it. Oh, she's alive. And then I was fine.
That's because this is a chick with some cojones. She puts herself in the middle. She gets into it.
My point is, when the kid had his thumb on the button, I thought for sure it's going down, and it didn't. So I was really, that scene got me. So I don't know. So hopefully, thank you. I'm glad that Samar's still alive.
She lives another day. Which I love because she's one of my fave characters on the show.
Yeah.
So we find that. So then we find that they're using children. And again, this really, I don't know, this really got me. This kid and him, like, doing his chants and doing the whole thing and being like this kid that sort of, indoctrinated and then sort of, brainwashed to be this, I don't know, killer /
like when he's talking to the
watcher.
FBI. Oh no, it wasn't her. It was the girl who was talking to the FBI to Wrestler and having it look, Daddy, was it Daddy says or whatever it was? Kenyon says all FBI should burn in hell or something like that. Yeah, all the little conversation.
All that stuff was really creepy to me. So,
or what was that thing you wrote it down too? I think
only I can't remember writing. Only something corruption is disruption.
The only cure for corruption is disruption.
Only cure for corruption is disruption.
Over and over again.
I missed a word there.
I'm like, this kid's real. Like, I don't know, but also just it was also chilling to think of the. In our troubled times, of terrorists and everything else, it's chilling to think of people who are trained and indoctrinated in whatever they are, and in this case, using religion to do that too. It's kind of a weird sub comment for me as to other stuff, using sort of maybe religion to indoctrinate these kids into doing things and becoming terrorists essentially. And it was. Now the fact that they're American and they're kids was also equally just chilling to me.
How horrifying it must have been for the mother to have escaped and left her children behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then so we find out that this whole bit is part of this ritual, that has created these watchers, and the ritual is that. Justin Kenyon says that all men must take 3 wives, but everyone's having babies everywhere, and they're all boys. And there's boys, and so to get rid of some of these boys, we take them out when they're 8 to 10 and have a nice manhood ceremony for them. And we leave them in the woods.
Call it the walkabout.
The walkabout, and then some die, some survive. But apparently, the first kid to have to do this was Kenyon's own son, David, and then he is the alpha watcher because he survived, and is he presumably when the kids come in he helps them survive? This is where I get kind of lost. How do this group of watchers form, and does Kenyon know they exist?
That was my question.
This is where I get confused.
That was a big question for me. Does Justin Kenyon know that the watchers? Well, I mean they know what watchers are. There's a title, so they must know that they're out there.
Well, the only one who knew the title was that girl.
Yeah, but where did she get?
And she said the watchers, and then she went, "Shh, it's a secret." So it's possible that maybe she knew one of the boys from that way.
What about Weston? Mrs. Weston knew.
Well, she knew that the kids were sent. I guess she did know. I guess that's true. Good point.
Right? Did she know or not know?
Well, I mean, no, it was Samar who said the story, but about the boys being survivalists and surviving. I mean, Dawn knew about the ritual, sending the kids out
Right.
to die in the wilderness.
But
she didn't say.
presumably, in this, 750 acres of woods or whatever it
78.
is, 78 acres,
78 miles, I think.
78 miles
Of
of
virgin territory.
of virgin woods.
Yeah,
You
virgin
send a 10-year-old boy out there. I mean, he ain't coming back, right?
Yeah.
Where are they getting all their arms?
Well, they just raided. I got their arms recently.
they
They just raided the compound and took a bunch of stuff.
Well,
How do
remember-
they know how to use that stuff?
Well, first of all,
Man, they got some training in the woods. They're watchers.
if I remember in the
Stop
beginning,
asking so many questions.
if I remember in the beginning, the opening moments.
Sorry.
All right,
Sheila, you
Just
and
trying
your
to make a-
questions.
just trying to make a point.
Need my logic.
Blacklist.
I'm just trying to answer a question.
Go
It's
ahead.
okay.
I'm sorry, Nando. Go ahead.
We can laugh at it. If I remember correctly, in the very beginning, when they showed them taking the guards in the perimeter,
Uh-huh.
they were throwing rocks at them, weren't they? They were. That's how they downed them. They came
I
up
thought they
with
were
they?
being shot.
I thought, in my head, I thought it was. At least we don't know.
thought they
I
threw
thought they were.
something.
Well,
It was kind of a quick moment. We didn't go
It
back
was.
to it.
You're right. But
Yeah.
they died. Oh, you're right.
I think they threw something at them first. Maybe they took their guns and shot them after. But
No.
I remember one of them specifically throwing
I think you're
a
right.
rock or something at one of
I
them.
think that I thought, because I was watching not knowing what the hell was going on, I thought
Yeah.
it was some elite super team coming in. I felt like they
did
were
too.
sniper. I mean, I felt like they were like silencers and they were just getting taken out.
Yeah.
Maybe
But,
they were just rocks.
Yeah, but maybe there's just rocks. That's a good throw.
Yeah.
Which would explain why everyone got
Yes. Stabbed and bludgeoned and
First,
beaten.
before-
Right,
they got the guns.
and then they got the guns. But my man Caleb was kind of a crack shot.
Yes, he
for
was.
for a kid who's never fired a gun, right?
They probably had a lot of practice in the days that they had
Shot out the
guns.
tire. He shot
Yeah.
David at the end.
Well, did
Well,
Caleb?
I don't know if those are the same guys or what.
I think David did David shoot the tire, or did Caleb shoot the tire?
I don't know. Somebody shot the
I think
tire.
Caleb, because Caleb was one of the kids, and Caleb's a crack shot, man. He shot the tire out, and he shot David in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coward. Anyway, I don't need
That was a
answers.
really good reenactment.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't need answers, but it would be nice if I had a couple
It was like
answers.
an
about
interesting
that.
Bonfire of the Vanities / Lost Boys group here.
It was.
Yeah.
So total Lost Boys gone wrong. If anyone out there in YouTube or iTunes land has an answer for us as to what was going on with these watchers, did they know about them? How did they get trained? Are we supposed to just be like, that's cool? And if it's cool, it's cool. I just
Well, I mean, everybody in that compound was apparently survivalist. That's what.
Okay.
Did Red say that? Somebody said that at some
Yes.
point. He said it doesn't make sense for them to kill it. They're not that kind of cult that
Okay.
drinks the Kool-Aid and all passes out.
Sure.
They're survivalists. So apparently, I'm guessing that they train the kids the boys at least at an early age, to be survivalists. But
Right.
obviously, they're in groups of people back then. They're not by themselves in the woods,
Right.
up in the mountains. So where they left David and the rest of them,
Yeah.
during their ceremonies. So that's why I guess they expect them to eventually die.
I still was all in. I mean, I did like them getting the tire shot out, and I think you mentioned that.
That Lizzie should never ride in the back seat with a kid.
Yeah.
Because inevitably something's going to go horribly amiss, and that car's going to go flying, flipping, blown
Just-
up. Who knows?
Just like in the pilot.
Just
Yeah.
like in the pilot, it's not going to end well.
Yeah. I will say, Lizzie, Lizzie's kind of stepping up her game. She's been through a lot, but like as an FBI agent, and take it easy. I'm talking about Elizabeth Keene. Okay, I'm not talking about Megan Boone necessarily. I'm talking about Elizabeth Keene.
I said nothing.
I think that like as an FBI, like I believe her with the beanie, and she's still rocking. She rocked the beanie in this one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's her thing now when she's on ops. She rocks the beanie, and that's how you know she means business. Sorry. But like, sorry, on YouTube when the commenter says, "Is it just me or do the hosts seem a little condescending about this episode?" That was last week. I think she's talking to you, Julia.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we love the Blacklist. We love this is what we're doing it. This is a great episode. We kind of
Love this episode.
and it's kind of our way to sort of like work our way through it as fans. To be able to say that was kind of weird, but know what? We love the show.
We make jokes. There were a lot of comments about the whole '80s technology reference. You're like, guys, come on, it's possible. It's possible that he still can. It's some kind. I'm like,
think it was
Oh,
funny.
we're just making jokes about it.
I'm still
I
amused
love
by
that.
that.
We know what it meant.
We'll
But
shout about exactly.
Yeah, it was like-
They said it was beta technology, and
beta technology, we get that, but
Okay.
it was still a funny line that we made.
Yes.
we exaggerated.
maybe it wasn't that funny when I was like,
I was amused.
"It's a CD."
You know,
I don't know. Anyway,
it's late night. We're a little punch drunk.
Back to that.
It's late
All
night.
right. We digress.
We digress as we often do. So, I did, but that was very effective to me. All of that. Lizzie Keene. I think Lizzie's been doing a great job lately. I think Lizzie is convincing me. I like her. I like her and Wrestler as a team on the case. I really mean this, and I felt like I didn't feel as oftentimes in season 1, I felt like she was out of her depth and like, why is she here and what's going on? I feel like, I want Lizzie on the case. She seems to know what she's talking about.
She was able to talk to David.
Yeah.
Talk to twice. Once in the compound to get Wrestler out and to talk to him a little bit, and then once in the van.
Absolutely. So there's that. So anyway, they get shot.
Poor Wrestler gets kidnapped a lot.
He does get kidnapped a lot. He does. He's a tough guy. That Wrestler.
A lot.
One more question.
A lot.
Why not kill Wrestler? Why they take Wrestler hostage? They killed old girl, the sheriff.
They killed the FBI woman. Yeah.
No, she was sheriff. I think
she was sheriff. But,
yeah.
Oh, that's right. I thought she had an FBI jacket.
They killed old girl. They hate the FBI. It's clear. FBI is all going to hell. They're going to burn us in a lake of fire. Lizzie's a girl. That can make sense. Maybe they're trying to make her a wife or something. But Wrestler, just drag him in the back of an ATV. You got an answer for that?
That was, I don't know.
Maybe they were waiting.
It was very, like, they were having fun with him. It was very, it felt like kind of like what, Deliverance or something like that. The way they were treating him. Like,
I did like the sort of Deliverance references too. Like, these guys are, who knows what's going to happen with these guys. So that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, who cares? That happened. They kidnapped Wrestler. They kidnapped Lizzie. We know that there's a reveal that obviously, Justin, his son, is the one who's doing all this to get revenge of the dad.
He's Peter Pan.
Having those conversations.
Yes.
They had that cool reveal at the end where he's died a horrible death through the eyes and mouth, which was also extremely disturbing.
Yes.
It
reminded me, I didn't have time to check the reference. It reminded me of Titus Andronicus. Doesn't he do that to his daughter Lavinia? With the I'll have to look it up. I'm.
Man, you're
anyways.
just a Titus Andronicus.
Yeah.
And look at you.
What?
Sorry.
I studied Shakespeare.
I know you're dropping these
Wow.
It's been a long time since I've read it, but
Lexi, what do you got?
Our IQ quoting for this podcast just went up.
I know. Well, Lexi, are you a Shakespeare gal too? Alexis?
No. I was giving you a signal.
You're saying hi.
Yeah. I was saying hi.
Hi of more minutes?
Hi, yes.
No.
right,
Anyway.
we'll keep on moving. Anyways, I could be so wrong. I'll look it up. You tell me. Whatever.
Okay, fair enough.
Struck me.
But it was very cool. And it makes me wonder, was he talking to him the whole
know.
time, like as a dead guy? What did you say, Dad? Shut up, Dad. And he's like that's weird too.
Because he never made a noise. He never murmured. He never moved.
Oh, it was a really disturbing. I'm gonna have some nightmares about this episode. And also, we should also mention that we watch these now. We don't have a day. We watch the episode. We run right in here. We scribble down some notes and we just start talking. So sometimes we have a day.
Sometimes we just start talking.
So we're really just experiencing this as you do as fans and really just trying to sort of work our way through these on our notes. So that was that. I think a lot of cool stuff. I do want to get to the limo and the safe in a second, but just jumping back to the safe with Jellybean and Red, finding them, getting, all that stuff we saw, like the back and forth.
Cracking up with my dyslexia pills.
The dyslexia pills bit was hilarious. So, I was really born in London. Just kidding. And just the take, Red's look was just like, no, it was amazing.
It was so needed too, so perfect and needed in this really dark, disturbing, upsetting.
It was a really good balance
episode. It was.
I want to find who wrote this. This is a good. I wonder who wrote the teleplay for this, but it was really great. So, but he did find Finch's apartment, which was
St. Petersburg on the second floor of
221, not
212. They did find the safe. They found a number in the safe, which
a card with
a number, which he had Dimbe sort of do a reverse trace on, which he called at the end of the episode. And
a burner phone, I guess, right?
On a burner phone,
and
got a very mysterious voice, and he said, this is Finch's number. You found the safe. Who's this? And I have predictions to exactly who the F that is. Okay, well,
we'll get there.
But before that, we do find out this really cool thing that Red did have something in there. And this is kind of another enigma thing here. Maybe you can help us out on YouTube and everything and iTunes. He goes and he opens the pulpit. Is that what you call it? What do you call the thing?
Yeah, I guess the pulpit.
Oh, pulpit. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And goes down there to a secret bunker that no one knew about and reveals what seems like an old school presidential car from some sort of presidential motorcade. And he pops in Bobby Darin Beyond the Sea. I started thinking about this, and I tried to do some detective work. I'm like, oh, I'll solve this. I know what this is. I'm like, Bobby Darin Beyond the Sea, recorded in 1958.
Wow.
1958, Eisenhower was president. Eisenhower in the back thing. Nixon was vice president. It has to be. And then I'm like, put that. Yeah, and I did all that. I'm so smart. I'm Joe Braswell. Until I realized that car is like from the 60s. So now what do I do?
Yeah, car must be
So does it mean? So it felt like that car was from the 60s and it wasn't from the 50s. Yeah. 58. It was more like a 65.
Our first thought was it was Kennedy, but it couldn't have been Kennedy because we were thinking about Dallas.
Right.
And he was, well, at least he was in a convertible in Dallas.
Yeah.
So
That was it. Yeah, okay.
So let's say it was a 68. Let's say it was still something to do with Nixon.
Maybe
but it's the
Nixon.
Bobby Darin Beyond the Sea. I was like, oh, Bobby Darin, 1958. I've solved it. And I didn't solve shit, nothing. Anyway, so he helped us out, and because he retrieved something from the back of the trunk of the car.
You would have been so cool, though. I would have been so impressed with you.
I was doing it. I'm like,
That
oh,
would have been awesome.
Bop, 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 bop. I was wrong. Or maybe we'll see if I'm right at all about that. So we pop the trunk. He gets something. We don't know what it is. Another cool thing. So we'll find out about the safe. We'll find out about what's going on there. And Lizzie still doesn't trust Red.
That was the one. Whoa. That was the one like wah wah part of this
I
entire episode.
got this dope ass penthouse for you, overlooking the Potomac.
That's a fatherly thing to do, right?
She's like,
it was just like the obligatory every other episode of.
I don't want your penthouse.
This is strictly business.
I'm very comfortable in my motel. Thank you.
I don't want your penthouse, Dad.
Yeah, stop with the dad. Anyway, so that was I know. So that was the episode. You know,
I'm representing.
We made it very clear that we love the episode. So that was that. I do want to get into some news and gossip, right? Some news and gossip.
AFTERBUZZ TV news.
I have no news or gossip, but what I do want to say,
I have some shout outs if you want.
I do want to get some shout outs.
Okay,
I do want to. Yes. That's right.
How dare you?
Breaking news. I just want to hear the drop, Alexis.
We do our shout outs during news and gossip.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, sure,
I'm
yeah, okay,
sorry.
all right, sure. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Alexis.
Oh God.
I wanted to, so a heads up to all of my folks here. Hesty, of course, Sam H. We were being tongue in cheek. Amanda Henderson, James Foran, Forehand. Thank you. We enjoy you too. Miss Lean, the famous Miss Lean, Bridget Shea Wardstone. Thank you very much. And Sister in the Hood. What's up, Sister in the Hood? And Melina Torres. Thank you. Major Keys, who hates us, but it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, there's someone who hates us on there?
Yeah, he thinks AfterBuzz has bitten off more than they can chew. This podcast is terrible. They just talk a lot, blah, blah, blah. The Americans is pathetic. You guys are pathetic, especially that Nando. He didn't say that, but I added that part.
Oh, that guy.
No, so I'm sorry, Major Keys.
Mom, stop posting on the internet.
Yes. And Mouse Dresden's the guy who didn't appreciate our the thingy 80s technology.
Can't please them all.
I'm sorry.
Well, we were joke. It was a joke.
It's not easy.
We like around. We like all. Yeah, I mean that was all. It was just a joke. And a couple on iTunes too. I have
Jesus Crust, Jan Jandals, Hannah Clark, Betsy, Kim Clark, Taryn K, Joanne H, Serena, Amza, One Wild Rice, and yes, that's it.
One Wild Rice. Also, Mingo fan of TV. And Popcorn Nat, who actually gave us 4 stars and titled his Joe Braswell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, there you go. And Kelly3222. And that's all for this week. Please, especially on iTunes, give us some more ratings because every now and then, like I said, we get one kook. And if you guys like us, show us some love on iTunes. That's what I'd say.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys listening.
Too. We love it. On YouTube, we can comment back.
Yeah, if we love our YouTube folks, and we love our iTunes folks as well, and we appreciate all of you guys. And, there was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Vanilla Cupcake, also one of our Twitter followers, had a very good prediction about the fulcrum that I want to steal. So. Let's go to predictions.
So we're on that part.
Okay. I don't know what it is, so I can't see it.
I know. That's why I'm teasing it.
And I have no predictions.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go, Julia.
Okay, so I hate predictions. Okay, so
You always
on
have
the
good
card.
ones.
On the card, the country code started with a 7. The country code for 7 is
sound like
either
me and the Eisenhower.
Kazakhstan or Russia. Now we remember in the little flashback.
Is this a real wait? You doing a real bit right now?
I'm doing a thing.
Oh my god, this
Wow.
is good. Okay, I'm sorry.
So in the
Wait, start over.
flashback-
I interrupted you. Start over. Go.
On the card that we find in St. Petersburg in the safe, the country code is a 7, and the country that correlates to is either Kazakhstan or somewhere in Russia.
Right.
As we know from the flashbacks, Lizzie's real name is actually Masha. So I think the person he's calling on the other line is Lizzie's dad,
Great.
who has gone back to Russia.
Boom. That was dope.
Damn it. I was going to say that.
Okay.
I was just going to say the last part.
Kazakhstan,
I wasn't looking. I was just trying to think of somebody to say. I said, "Oh, hey, it's Lizzie's dad." That was a joke.
I also was going to say that's Lizzie's dad. I swear to God that's Lizzie's dad on the other line. I did not know about the
Kazakhstan
country code of Kazakhstan. It's right here. You're the goddamn Nancy Drew over here. Look at you.
Did arithmetic
that's
and everything on
amazing.
that.
You're like Claire Danes in Homeland over here. Exactly.
got a board at
the big
home.
board. That was impressive. That was yours.
I was gonna say the same thing,
The dad.
but the only thing is, I still don't. I still think Red's her father, but I was just gonna say that just for the sake of that's the only person I could think of that it could be that we would know.
Wait, so you think it's Lizzie's dad, but you also think that Red is her father?
I could
Pick
make
a
a-
side, Nando.
I could pick a prediction. I was just gonna say it for the sake of saying it.
All right.
You really believe it, so
I have the same
don't make
prediction.
it more right.
My other prediction is that the fulcrum, which I thought it looks like it is
Bunny Fulcrum?
Bunny fulcrum looks like
Nando?
looks like it is
I don't
something
remember.
that possibly could fit into that music box. That red thing looks like one of those things you put in there.
Yeah.
And so that's what she's like. It looks like it fits into the music box
Beta
and it could play.
technology.
So I thought that was very astute.
That is astute.
Glad I thought of it. Vanilla cupcake. Boom. Anyway, because that's what I thought.
All right, Vanilla Cupcake. Give Nando a prediction next week.
And
Help this brother out.
then when you play it, it's like, ding, red is not the father. Ding, da, ding, da, ding. I don't know.
I like that song.
That's a good song.
You know all the songs tonight.
I know.
Boy.
That's what the music boxes do. It's so late. We gotta get out of here.
Yes.
That's it. Okay, I know, Alexis, we're gonna wrap up right now. One last thing about the Kenyon family. I'm kidding. Thank you. That's it for us. We're gonna get out of here.
You sure enough news and gossip?
No more news and gossip.
Okay, got it. Make sure.
Thank you for joining us this week. Nando, where can we find you, sir?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nandovel, Nandovel. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz doing other shows like The Walking Dead,
Right.
which Alexis is sitting in on this week.
Oh.
Heck yeah.
Yes, heck
Ooh,
yeah.
it's good.
And Scorpion, and we'll be coming back for Bates Motel for sure. Right?
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing
right.
that one, and I think we're not doing the following.
We're not.
After we trash it this episode, probably not. Anyway, and that's about it.
All right, Julia, where can we find you?
Find me on Twitter
lot,
and
by the
on
way.
Instagram with my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley.
Good. And she's got some fresh Doc Martens on too.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Straight from like 1996. It's like my foot never left.
Take a photo. put
You
on
can
Twitter.
find Joe Sanfilippo on his
will.
website at josephsanfilippo.com and on Instagram and Twitter at joeflippo.com. You can find me, Joe Braswell, the handsome one, at joekbraswell.com. Joe K. Braswell on Twitter and Instagram, and also on Base Motel, and also on Geek Nerd Tech with Alexis.
Heck yeah.
And so you can check that
I
out.
want to do something with Alexis.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
We did this show with Alexis.
we
She's
did.
Okay.
producing it, Yeah.
Where can we find you, Alexis? What the heck?
All right. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at atorres890. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz for Face Off, Castle, and The 100.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to us, and we'll be back next week with more Blacklist, and all four of us will be here. Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.